So you and I have been watching Legion. We haven't been doing like a weekly breakdown, and honestly, this would be a little hard to do.
Yeah.
But we figured we'll do like a mid-season check-in. We're about halfway, maybe a little bit over halfway through the series. And man, I gotta say, this is the weirdest fucking show.
Yeah, it is.
That I've watched, I think, ever. You know, I never got into Twin Peaks.
Right.
But this may be the answer to it.
Well, okay, so like I talked about Legion a little over a month ago, I guess, because after the first episode premiered, like I did a little segment on it, and
you were fascinated.
I was fascinated by it, and I still am, but I'm not 100% sure what's going on at any moment of time during this show.
And I keep asking myself, is any of this really happening?
Is anything really happening?
Is anything really happening in Legion? It's such an oddball show. I do like how the time frame of the show is very ambiguous.
Yeah.
Where you'll see like old technology mixed with new technology and fashion and stuff like that. I don't really buy the romance between David and Sydney. She's like, I love you and all this stuff, but I don't really feel like they've done enough to build up that connection between the two. Well, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, because
she even real?
That was legitimately my biggest question at the very beginning of the series.
Right.
Is she even real?
Is any of it real? That's really the question that you need to ask yourself while you're watching the show, because everything is so weird and it jumps back and forth between like a dream state and reality and you know, the whole unreliable narrator type thing.
Very much
we
so.
find out that Lenny was Benny and all that kind of stuff in these last couple of episodes. And, you know, it'll show flashbacks. I remember, I think it was like the second or third episode, there was a flashback of David talking to Lenny and someone else. And I was like, is this a flashback of him really talking to people, or is he talking to personalities in his mind right now? And you just don't know. You just don't know with Legion. But the way it's shot, and edited together, and the way it's acted, the performances are all great. Really keeps you wanting to know more.
Oh yeah.
But it seems like this kind of show is just going to be one of those ultimate mind trip. And it makes me feel like, how do casual audiences, how are they feeling about this show?
Yeah.
Does this show have legs, being such a out there concept? Is it going to be able to last more than 1 or 2 seasons even?
Yeah. I mean, and even when we were talking about it, you know, a month or so ago, that was my ultimate point, was that I think the barrier to entry for this show is mountainous,
right? Well,
for like the layperson.
You know, my girlfriend was watching it with me. She got through the first 3 episodes, and then she's just like, I don't know what's going on. So I watched the last 2 without her.
Yeah.
And she was totally fine with it. You know, it's not like, oh, you missed it. But it's just one of those shows that you're just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. What the fuck's going on?
It's very high concept. The point of perspective of the show is incredibly unreliable.
Right.
You don't know if anything is real. The things that you think might be real are still questionable.
And they even question it in the show.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, are we even here, or are we in a memory? I don't know.
Okay, so I watched episode 5 before I came over here.
Right.
And they get to the point where they're going to David and his sister's old house from when they were kids. And they get out of the car, and the first thing Melanie says is, from here on out, don't trust anything that you see, because it's probably not real.
Right. What did you think about Oliver, Jermaine Clement's character? That was an
so
interesting
weird. It was
episode.
really weird.
Yeah. I liked him a lot, doing like the beat poetry and everything. That was
He was a great character, that's for sure.
I hope we get to see more of him. And I really like the whole Aubrey Plaza kind of taken such a dark turn over these last few episodes, as she kind of, you know, infiltrates his psyche. But at the same time, and I'm watching it and I'm watching scenes with her, I'm like, did she ever really exist outside of his mind? I mean, they referenced the fact that she was like put into a wall, but did that even happen? You know, it's just, you don't know. And that's the most frustrating thing about this show. Even though it's enjoyable to watch, you still are just left with like, what? And then the ending of episode 5 too, where they end up back in the hospital.
Yeah.
And they're all like vegetables. What if they were all in the mental hospital and this is all just something that played out in David's mind, and then we get onto the real story? I mean, who the fuck knows? You know?
So the Nerdist put out an article, I think Thursday or Friday, and they were talking about who that yellow-eyed demon devil,
the
big fat guy
yeah.
thing, what exactly that is. And they are pointing to the comics, actually, for their theory.
Okay.
That it is someone called, I think, the Shadow King, who is a real awful villain from the comics that has been around for, 40, 50 years.
Okay.
But he is very much how this thing is being portrayed. He infiltrates the minds of powerful people and uses their abilities and increases the amount of hate in the world and then feeds on that, which makes him more powerful.
So do you think that when David goes to rescue his sister, was that the big fat guy, Shadow King guy controlling him, or was that Lenny controlling him?
Well, and that's kind of what I took from this latest episode, is that the Lenny that talks to David in his mind and the Shadow King and the character of Benny that we only got introduced to in the last episode when they were investigating David's past, like all of them were incarnations of this Shadow King part of David's psyche. It's a parasite that's attached itself to him and has been feeding off of his normal innate power for his entire life.
It's such a weird show.
Yeah, it is. But it's glorious.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those that's going to keep me watching. How many episodes are there in this season?
8.
8?
Which
so
was,
then we're on our way out then.
There's 3 left, yeah.
Maybe we'll do a wrap-up in 3 weeks after the last 3 episodes have aired. What do you think of Legion? Have you seen it? Do you understand it? Do you know what's going on? Is any of this real? Is this podcast real?
Are your daily interactions with other people, are you actually talking to real people?
God, I hope not.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments and we'll move on.